There's a kind of palette called a punch palette. Now, I don't know if that's an official term actually for this kind of palette, but I call them punch palettes because they are palettes where there's this one color, or maybe it's a couple colors, that are notably different from all the other colors. And because they're so different, they just have this kind of punch to them. They are almost screaming to the eyeball, like, look at me first, look at this color first, and then check out the rest of the layout. So it's a neat way to draw people into a layout, into an illustration, into a logo by having this punch color grab attention and then kind of share the attention with the rest of the piece. Sometimes a punch palette is a matter of a light and bright hue being used against darker colors, or it can be an intense hue being presented among muted colors. And sometimes color temperature is involved. Like here, we've got a hot and intense kind of yellow orange, and it's being shown against a range of cool bluish grays. And here it's the other way around with an intense, bright, ice-cold lime sherbet green that's standing out against a backdrop of warmer reddish and orangish browns. So it's pretty artistically intuitive, these punch palettes. I mean, basically they're a matter of contrast. You got light versus dark, bright versus muted, warm versus cool, sometimes all of the above. I love the sophistication that comes from all these different contrasting effects within one palette. That's the punch palette for you. All right, why not use them on a logo, layout, or an illustration, or at least try them out? I think these things are a really good place to start when you're working on a color scheme, if nothing else. Sometimes I stick with this strategy all the way through, and sometimes I veer off, but I love punch palettes. So, considering my love for these things, which I've gone into at great length here, you'd think that good old Color Index XL, my latest book, would be filled with punch palettes. It's not. Nope, there's not a single chapter on punch palettes in this thing. But that's just half the story, because actually this book is filled with punch palettes. You just have to know how to find them or how to build them using the colors from just one page in most cases. So here's the deal, and it's really simple. You can create a punch palette by, for instance, you go to a page and you grab some colors from the dark and or the muted palettes, and then you grab a lighter and or a brighter color from the bright palette. Presto, a punch palette. And also, feel free to grab your punch color from elsewhere in the book if you feel like it, or just make up one of your own. Doesn't matter, that's okay. So, punch palettes, maybe give one a try on a project that you have coming up or something that you got in the works. Look for a project that could just use that little extra zing to it, that little extra punch.